In November 2024, I injured my left wrist due to a failed rack in overhead press after the very last heavy rep, and hence I couldn't train my upper body for 3+ months, but I didn't fall off. And so if you usually think of quitting whenever you get an injury, in this video I'm gonna share with you 5 lessons I learned on this journey to deal with pain and stay consistent, which did actually help me a lot to get back even stronger and bigger, so that you would know how to prepare yourself properly for a great comeback. If you don't know who I am, my name is Bách Đỗ. I help guys gain weight and strength, becoming bigger and stronger. Lately, my weight has gone up from 55 to more than 70 kilograms, and this is the best version of myself in my entire life. I used to be skinny and weak as fuck, but at least I'm healthy now, and I'm confident about myself. So that's why I want to help you and other guys who are experiencing the same shit that I did in the past to overcome them. Okay? Now, the very first lesson I learned is that I must do rehab exercises. That is a fucking must. Before this overhead press stuff injury, I actually got another one during the period when I was training martial arts, and it happened a long while ago. At that time, I didn't do any rehab exercises, and it healed by itself after several months of training. Okay, and when it comes to this, a bro at the gym asked me and him, we got a good relationship there. Recently I haven't seen him, so kind of worried. You know, he's one of the few people I can actually talk with. Anyway, he asked me that, do you do any rehab exercises? I said that no, I do not do any, because I didn't do for the previous one as well. So I think this should be fine on its own. But I was wrong. It wasn't healing by itself. And that shit was expressed by 1.5 months with no progress. It still hurt after doing icing and hitting a lot. So I looked up how to deal with this, and I bumped into a video of a fitness YouTube channel in Vietnam, and they talked about static, isometric, eccentric, and concentric exercises for rehab specifically. So I started to do static and isometric exercises, some stretching, massage every fucking single day, and that shit lasted for around 30, maybe 20 minutes per day. And then I incorporated some more, which are rebuild exercises, particularly push-up, hold position from wall, okay, and I gradually decreased the height to knee on floor, okay, like a fucking beginner, plus dead hang, and eventually I got into full reps in those exercises. So that is the first one. I must do rehab exercises for all the injuries or pain. Next one is that icing is just for the first few days / weeks, okay? Twice per day for the first 1.5 months, I did it. Initially, I felt so good, but gradually, it was just getting more painful after every time that I did icing. And I got the same experiences for my lower back pain or injury recently after around 1 week. The first 1 week, it was cool. It was good with the icing, but after that, it was just hurt and painful. And that is when I understood why it is often said online within the injury post that icing is just for the first few days or so, and that's it. Stop. And then I actually stopped. I only did hitting and the other stuff that I told you before. That's it. It is just for the first few days or weeks. Third lesson is that I shouldn't have trained through pain. You know, I just mask the pain by wrapping the wrist with a thin cloth and did the same fucking workout routine, the same fucking weight, the same amount of reps, sets, like nothing had happened. I pretended that it didn't hurt and it was normal, but the fact is that it was not. It was not normal. I was in pain. Sometimes I tried to do dips, gave it some attempts with the hope of seeing some positivity, but I couldn't take it after just several reps. I was afraid as well, because it got weaker after months not training, and the wrist hurt so bad during those times. So it just got worse and worse, and it lasted longer than it should be. Specifically, it took me 4 fucking months to heal, and it is still not 100% healed. Okay, 100% healthy, no. If I had healed this properly, I could have got back to normal training much faster. Of course, from basically zero again in only 2 months, rather than 4 months like that. So, the key thing here is to train around the pain, not through it, but around it, around the painful area, the injured one. Just do whatever I can and do not take complete rest. For example, I did core exercises on the floor rather than the ones that I used to do, which looks really fancy, like toes to bar, elbow lever, L-sit hold, etc. Dragon flag. In addition to core exercises, I did cardio, aka running, and legs training. Plus, of course, rehab exercises, which I can do, the things that I can do. And I didn't push through it after a long ass months period of time as well. I didn't push through it as well. Also, during that time, I tried to learn about the injury and how to optimize the workout routine so that later on I can, get back faster. And I did during that off season. It is free, okay? I can do it totally free. In terms of my current low back injury, I also dug deep into the rabbit hole, and I found an injury handbook of Squat University and Juji Mufu, whom I watched from time to time on YouTube beforehand, and lately I got LBA, Low Back Ability, on YouTube, and his exercises are really good. Okay, I just basically, what I mean here is that I have been drawing the lessons from the past for the current injury, even though within the the initial phases I was still stupid. Okay, also I invested in a program, and then I got the basis to come back later, which I'm gonna mention later on in this video. Next one is that I pay attention when training. I have to pay attention when training after that trauma happened. Okay, not only after the injury, but also before, especially when you are not. What I mean here is when you are not getting injured, okay, before it, just prevent it from happening. Be aware of that. And there's a saying in Vietnam is that prevention is better than cure. Be present. That is the same lesson that I learned when training martial arts. Learn here means new behavior, same condition. So during workouts recently, especially when it comes to the barbell involved exercises, I just look so carefully to see if each side is in, even when I am tired, and then I am allowed to rack. So I have learned, I have got smarter. Last but not least, it will heal. I was consistent doing the rehab exercises every single day for the first few months, and I still barely saw any positive signs. I got so depressed and frustrated. Even the smallest action, like putting my hand relaxed on the motorbike handlebar, the wrist still hurt after that. When I stopped for the traffic light, for example, I just try to rotate the wrist a little bit in order to get it a bit mobile, but it hurt as fuck. And then I remember what I always tell clients and you, that the last reason at the end of the checklist when not making any progress is not be patient enough. And I was impatient. So I started to give it more time. That is support. I have nothing to lose. I had nothing to lose, which made me a dangerous guy. So either I got better or just stuck at the same place. That's fucking it. No drawbacks for me. Also some more experiences as well, so that I can share with you right now. So I just spammed and did as much as I could. I thought that if this actually heals, I'm gonna cry. And when it actually did, I didn't cry, but I got so happy. You know, I tried RDL again and I got no pain in the wrist for the first time, the very first time. And I smiled and I talked to myself, bro. It was crazy. Also, previously I did mention the program that I invested. It was only several dollars into LBA program. You can check it out if you have low back problems, or maybe someone, your relatives have that. You can check that out. It is really cheap, okay? Monthly. So from all of the above, I got back to training with the knowledge and new experiences acquired during the off seasons. Also thanks to the deprivation and anger inside of me when I couldn't train or do anything while other guys were doing and training hard. I just got back to where I was, where I used to be much faster, even stronger, like 20 kg on weighted pull-ups and weighted dips explosively for proper reps just after several 1 to 2 months. 40 kg per side, 40 kg per side on deadlift, 45 kg per side on squat for minimum 10 reps, 35 kg per hand walking lunges, and I got from 60 to more than 70 kg with body weight. That's it, bro. That's how I got to where I am now after those fucking traumatic injuries and pains. Hopefully you will not make the same mistake as I did, and you will get them healed faster. Okay? That's it, bro. Goodbye.